So, Michael, over the last 2 years, we have experienced an inordinate amount of pain, suffering, and death. And there are many, because it's been so prolonged, that are now looking and going, oh, I just can't wait until it gets back to the way things were, or we even get better than the way things were. When you hear something like that, where can you help us to understand that process better?
So one thing I like to do, Dwayne, is I do like to challenge people. And I would challenge the second part of what you said, and I would challenge everybody to how can we come back better than we were going into this large-scale adversity such as COVID. And that's a big topic, particularly in resilience, and it's called post-traumatic growth, right? So post-traumatic growth, you're not ignoring the trauma, in this case, 2 years of COVID, this huge adverse situation that a lot of people in healthcare have been a part of. We're not ignoring that. But how you come through that, so you, the people around you that work with you, that work for you, your family, again, you can take this to anywhere. You all have learned, you've grown, you've adapted, and I'd say, particularly in healthcare, people have adapted all day, every day almost, in certain situations.
Yeah, it's almost been a daily change that we've experienced.
Yeah, and I've heard some examples in some of the courses that, some people, every 8 hours, they were adapting to something new. So even within a day, they're adapting multiple times.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be lost on people. And being able to carry that forward and understand, hey, what did we learn? What worked? What didn't work? Again, at work, at home, if God forbid this keeps going or something happens like this in the future, how do we carry these things, these lessons that we've learned moving forward? Everybody has grown during this time. Hopefully the goal, and what I will continue to push people on to be their goal, is that you are operating at a higher level than when you went into the COVID 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, could you speak a little bit more to that? Because one of the things that I've seen is because of all the constraints and all the challenges, it has risen the creativity of our staff. That things that were just not even thought of, how do we do this, are now being thought of, and they're doing things that would never even cross their minds pre-COVID.
Well, that's the adaptation piece, right? When you are thrust into situations that you've never thought of before, never thought you were going to be in before, your brain, it is a very powerful thing, and it does find new ways of thinking, new ways of doing things pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So I think, to what you're saying is a lot of people have been forced to adapt. They didn't have a choice. You were forced to adapt. But I think now you're seeing some of the benefits of that as well. In the moment, maybe not as beneficial because it's like, hey, we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants. We're going to try this and see if this works, and here we go. But now we know what works, what didn't work in those particular situations. How can we use those lessons learned and even some of the adaptations that we made moving forward?
Yeah, so the objective then is not to get back to where we were,
right,
but to realize where we are and what we have brought with us. And that goal of, we just got to get back to here. Here no longer exists.
Right. And I mean, it ties in some of the other things we were talking about in the videos, right? The self-awareness piece. Where are we now? Where were we?
Yes.
Again, the adaptation. Okay, COVID forced a lot of stuff on us. We've adapted through. So, hey, maybe we found new strategies, new techniques, better ways of doing things than we ever would have thought possible pre-COVID.
Right.
So, again, having the awareness of those, and then again, setting the goal to how we want to come back better as a person, as a team, whatever unit or floor you work on, and just as the Christ Hospital Network, that's a big thing.
Right. And even with that, looking at how we as an institution have grown, it's not just on the ground level. It's filtered through the entire organization, that everybody has done things differently. And almost like going back to the prior videos that we have done, it's no longer outcome, it's process.
Yep.
It's no longer getting back to the way things were. It's embracing the way things are and what has become of us. Because as a good organization, embracing what we are experiencing doesn't take us back to a good organization. It takes us back to a great organization.
And the good thing about a great organization is a great organization can always keep getting better.
Yeah.
And that's, in my work that I've done with athletes using my background in sports psychology, that's a key tenet to sports psychology. I don't care what level you come to me at, particularly if we're talking about the Christ Hospital, right? You guys are at a level way up here. Well, just because you're up here, you can't get comfortable.
Right.
You have to keep getting better. And again, when you start to take a look at like the process and the way we do things and things like that, you can make fine tweaks to always improve.
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome to hear. I really believe that connects again with that the concept of hope. It gives us hope that, things aren't always going to be like this. And even when we achieve greatness, they're still not always going to be like that. There are greater levels to achieve as we look and we make that adaptability shift. We adapt to what has been given to us, make those adaptations, take down some walls and just go, okay, what do we got? And then learn from what we have experienced and take that and go forward with it.
Yeah, and especially, and again, I think it needs to be said, I think people need to give themselves credit for the last 2 years as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Like their levels of resilience, coming to work, doing what they did, and continuing to try and better themselves and again, add into the greatness of the Christ Hospital. I think that also needs to be said. So
absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. Thank you, Michael. Great insight that you've given to us about post-traumatic growth, because it's something that we don't know about, don't hear much about, but it is so evident, and you've seen it, you've experienced it, now you're bringing it to us. Thank you.
You're welcome.